What is up, creators? This is Tom. Welcome back to another video. I've got a super exciting one for you today. Something I've been working on for about a month or so now, and it is my desk setup, sharing my desk setup with you guys. So we've been working from home. A lot of people have been working from home. I've been working from home since about March. And in the last sort of couple of months, I decided that my workspace wasn't totally up to scratch. So I decided to sort of rejig the whole setup. And I finally got to a point that I'm super happy with my desk setup behind me. So I thought that I would sort of break it down, share with you piece by piece each sort of item on the desk, what goes into it, where I got it from, and what purpose it serves to make me as productive as possible from home. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tom. I make videography focused videos here on YouTube, also cover things like photography and just content creation in general. I'm also a video professional. I freelance full time, so my workspace is super important for me because I spend so much of my time at a desk editing. So like I said, I'm going to take you through sort of piece by piece each individual item, where it's from, and if I can find it, I will link that exact piece down below in the description so you can sort of click through at your convenience. All right, so kicking off with the desk, obviously the main sort of centerpiece for the desk setup. It's a Swedish brand. This is a sit-stand desk from a Swedish brand called, to the best of my pronunciation, Kinaris. I basically got quite lucky and managed to pick it up used for a really affordable price, but I think normally this retails at sort of the decent rate of a motorized sit-stand desk. It's around about the £500, $500 mark. So they're not super cheap, but like I said, I managed to snag a pretty good deal on this one. And because I've got all the cable management set up on this computer and this desk, it doesn't really get used as a stand desk. I pretty much just sit at it in front of it all the time. But yeah, I really wanted a nice big desk. That was sort of my main objective in terms of changing my desk setup. I think it's 170 centimeters wide, so sort of a pretty good size. And yeah, it just allows me a lot of real estate to work with. And the chair is just a nice, simple faux leather chair from a company called Habitat here in the UK. Nothing too complicated about it, but yeah, just a nice desk chair. I've actually been using a stool for the past year, so nice to upgrade to an actual proper chair. So the way that this setup is sort of angled, I wouldn't do this if I didn't make YouTube videos. I would have the desk sort of sat flush up against a wall, as would most commonly be to sort of maximize the space in a room. Luckily, I have this sort of office space now, so I've actually angled the desk out slightly, and that means I can get behind the desk to film. That's why it's sort of jutting out into the room behind me. It means that I can just get slightly more creative with my angles versus having to always shoot up square against it with the desk behind me like this. All right, getting into the cool pieces now. The computer that the desk setup is sort of centered around. This is Apple's M1 Mac Mini. Anyone that follows me on Twitter will know that I've been having an absolute nightmare getting my M1 Mac Mini delivered. But in the end, what I've managed to do is order it directly off Amazon. So this is the 8GB RAM version, but it has a 512GB SSD. Haven't sort of had a massive amount of time yet to play around with the M1 Mac Mini, which is why you guys haven't seen a video yet on the channel about it. But this video is actually going to be the first video that I'm editing full on this Mac, so I'm super excited to see how that performs. But I've got this plugged into a Satechi, I hope that I'm saying their brand name correctly. It is a Mac Mini base station. This is ever so slightly not compatible with the M1s. Like, it does work fully, but the color is not the same, and also the connector aligner is ever so slightly off on the back. But basically what this does is it just expands the port selection on these Mac Minis, and it means that I have some ports right there in front. So I'm able to sort of, plug in like SD cards or USBs directly into the front, like a super nice expansion feature to this M1 Mac. Here I have a selection of SSD drives. This is what I edit all of my videos on. These are really affordable now, especially for the amount of storage that you can get. So I have two Samsung T5s here, and then I have a SanDisk Extreme. These are all 512GB versions of the storage. And the way that I tend to work is that I'll edit all of my projects directly off this drive, like these drives. I edit all of my videos working off these drives. And then I have a LaCie 8 terabyte storage solution. This is like a big SATA drive, and you can pull the hard drive out and that type of thing. That is over to the side on my desk setup, and I will only plug that in if I need to either access files or I'm working specifically in a folder on that drive. Most of the time I just keep this unplugged on the desk because it does look great, but it is a bit noisy, which is why I tend to work directly from the SSDs because they are completely silent. In terms of the monitor, this is one of my favorite things on the setup. This is a relatively affordable option actually. This is a Samsung widescreen 34-inch monitor, and I was super happy with the quality because, like I said, this wasn't like a crazy expensive monitor for what you get basically. It's a 34-inch super beautiful screen. It is, I think, a 3400 pixels wide. Like, it's a really, really nice pixel density. Like I said, just a really great option. So if you are looking at a widescreen monitor but have been a bit scared by their prices, this is definitely a good one to check out. And that is mounted just basically onto this this mount stand that I bought off Amazon. I don't know the brand name off the top of my head, but I'll link it down below in the description. This is by far and away my favorite recommendation for any desk setup. If you're wanting to revamp your desk setup, do not undermine the sort of value of having one simple stand, one simple column along the back of your monitor, back of your desk, and that is connecting your monitor. Like, it frees up so much space underneath your monitor. And I was super surprised at the difference in terms of productivity and just sort of like the feeling when you sit down at your desk setup that actually makes to just get a sort of a nice clear space in front of you just with one sort of column and one bar holding your monitor screen up. This is a 34-inch screen. It's not small, as you can see behind me, and this monitor mount handles it no problem. Driving the setup is a Satechi, same company as the docking station. That's a backlit Apple keyboard, Mac keyboard. This is a really nice keyboard, and it is a little bit cheaper than the Apple version, the Apple Space Gray version. Those are just obscenely expensive, so I decided to go with that one. And a standard Mac Magic mouse, and like, I've never used a mouse that I prefer more than the Magic Mice, which is why I've gone for that one. These speakers on the setup are they're really old. They're from a company called Odyssey. I've just never really had means to or a need to change them because they're decent sound. They look, you know, nice on a desk setup like this. However, I am thinking of potentially upgrading to these to some like walnut wood studio monitors. So let me know if anyone has any recommendations below. But yeah, you know, on the whole, like, decently happy with the monitors, and yeah, they just do a good job. Another sort of last couple of remaining things on the setup itself are the last sort of like slightly handmade elements. So I have a desk pad, a leather desk pad. This is genuine leather and actually handmade for me by my godfather, who is a leather worker, and it was a gift for Christmas, and like, just super happy with it. It's a beautiful piece of leather. There are companies that do this type of leather, so the desk blotter desk pads, so I'll link a similar product down below in the description if you're interested. And then the next is another gift that I got given, and it's an industrial lamp, and this I think was bought from Etsy, but it has sort of piping, like industrial piping with a filament bulb. So super nice, really nice sort of industrial vibe to the setup, and it also gives out this sort of, you know, really nice orangey light, which I can use in addition to this blue and cyan over here to just, you know, get the setup looking and feeling quite nice. Again, I would do my best to link a similar product down below. And then finally, we just need to talk about cable management, because this is something which I was pretty happy with in terms of cable management on this desk setup. So the desk does come with some sort of under desk cabling solution. This is a pretty common solution that is available on desk. You can also buy these and actually screw them directly in if your desk doesn't come with them. And in my opinion, they're the easiest way to eliminate most of the cables underneath your desk setup. And what I've done is I have a normal power extension cable, and I've actually command stripped it just with normal sort of Velcro command strips to the underside of the desk. And that is why that the desk setup doesn't actually move all that much. If you were to turn it up and turn it down, it would probably pull out every single plug and socket because that is sort of Velcroed and command stripped onto the underneath. And then I have all of the cables zip tied. So I bought a pack of zip ties, and I just zip tied those underneath into the cabling rack. And in my opinion, like I said, this is just the easiest way to eliminate all of your cabling woes when you work with a desk setup. Like, I absolutely hate loose cables underneath a desk setup, and this is just a super nice and super easy way. You don't need sort of crazy DIY skills. Just buy one of these racks if you don't have one, and then just make sure your cables are nice and zip tied all together so you don't have tons of excess wire going into each one. And it doesn't need to be crazy neat, because that cable rack can hide most of that cabling mess. There we go, guys. That is just a look at this desk setup behind me. I hope you guys have found this interesting, useful. It's just super nice in a sort of work from home environment when a lot of us haven't chosen necessarily to work from home all the time. This is always going to be the case for me because I've been working for myself and freelancing for the last year or so, and that was always planned. But it is just really nice to have a setup that you absolutely love working from when you're at home. You could be as productive as possible. I do hope you have enjoyed this video, found it helpful, useful. Like I said, if you have any suggestions for monitors, studio monitors that maybe I should check out, leave them in the comments section down below. I'll be down there as always. If you made it to this point in the video, I'd massively appreciate a like rating on the video. It really helps out the channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.